having a great playoff match between Virtus Pro as well as Hellraisers. That was our first matchup not too long ago, but we're getting into this one, and already some interesting heroes being picked up. But as we continue, I want to say, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much again for supporting Dota Pit, being amazing, and making sure that we've grown this far. Brought to you by One Game Agency, produced by High Ground TV. Of course, my name is Mott. Joining me today, Pitmunkle, our observer, as well as producer. Mott Pax, our stats man, who did miss that last game. Welcome back, buddy. And of course, Trouf, how the hell are you, man?
I am doing good. You know, when you just said at the beginning of this playoffs, you sounded like that guy from that Coors Light commercial. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Who was that guy? Do you know?
He was he was one of the coaches of the Colts, the Indianapolis Colts. I don't know who. I can't remember his name, but
playoffs.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That famous little thing. But anyway, it just popped into my head. But no, I'm doing good. I got my McDonald's coffee, which is like the best coffee in the world. And I'm excited to see this. So Lina Treant picked up here on the side of a NiP, and then of course a Jug. Troll Phoenix. I was thinking about it, and I think that Batrider is actually a much better of a counter to Treant than Phoenix is, as far as getting rid of Limit Armor. Because Phoenix, the way I've seen Phoenix played effectively lately is that like he doesn't really do much in team fights until he's like a level 11, or just he doesn't want to start a team fight. Like, he doesn't run in there hoping to start something. It's more of like the fight's already happening and then he kind of rolls in or something, at least from what I've seen. So I think Batrider is a little bit better at being active of taking over the tree armor, but of course, if it ever does get to the point where you have an Ags on Treant, then obviously Phoenix is probably the best because he has so many different ways to get rid of those eyes. But maybe Vega's just comfortable with Phoenix in general. It's a pretty good offlaner. It is Radiant, though, so it's not going to be nearly as strong. Magnus picked up, probably mid. Could see a support Phoenix, though, too.
That would be definitely interesting. I agree with you in the fact that Phoenix he's hit or miss sometimes. We talked about this last series. For me, I'm just not a fan of the hero early on in the game, and I don't know. We'll see. It depends on what NiP pick for their offlane, because currently they have a lot of options, but they have the Lina Tree Protector Juggernaut. We'll see if they send the Lina mid. It's definitely an option for them. They could also do support Lina, which has been something people have been experimenting with. But Magnus Troll, that seems to be the hot new thing. Troll Warlord, he farms fast already. Then you give him in power, and he takes down ancient stacks. He takes down camps like nobody's business. He'd be able to farm. There's a game last night I was watching, which you guys were playing. You had a mag on your team, and Yawar, I think, was playing the Troll, and he farmed incredibly fast. It was unbelievable.
It's stupid.
It's ridiculous.
I think in power, actually, the buff is too strong. I think it gives you too much damage, too much cleave as well. It's just 50% flat for both. It's just it's way too much, I think. I think it needs to be tweaked. Maybe like 10, 20, 30, 40. Something small like that. Anyway, it's very, very strong. Magnus Troll. I'm surprised I gave him both of them, honestly. Especially the Troll. So when you give Troll, you want to get a lot out of it. Like, if I'm giving you Troll, I must be getting a ton in return. Lina's pretty good. Treant, it's not the most impressive like first two picks ever, though. Like something like Sniper Treant or Sniper Axe or Sniper Lina would have been good, but they already did get the Axe, so Axe wasn't banned out, which is surprising considering if you watch NiP, that's one of their favorite heroes. They really love to pick up that Axe. Even in I don't know if it was an interview, but it was PPD's podcast when he was discussing when I don't know if you remember the game at MLG, they got absolutely destroyed by NiP. In like 13 minutes or something. It was just a complete stomp. And they were just saying, well, this something that this game told us is how stupid Axe is. And we forgot how stupid Axe can be. So people sometimes forget, the new hot commodity, of course, well, not new, I should say, but the big hot commodity is like your Troll Warlord, your Sniper. But don't forget that Axe is really, really strong too.
Axe is a pretty dumb hero in his own right. I think everybody's just kind of waiting for this patch, and it's not going to be too long now before we get it. I am very excited to see what changes, because I think a lot of things are going to change. This is going to be one heck of a patch in terms of parity and balance, but for now, we still have to deal with pretty much the overarching issue, which is Juggernaut's picked up, Troll's picked up. It's no surprise. Sniper's banned out. No Shadow Fiend banned, but I don't think either team will grab him. And NiP probably going to send Axe to the offlane, which they've done multiple times for Jonas if he is playing it. And then I guess you pick up a mid here or a support. Depends on what they want with this Lina. That's the most important thing. And they don't have like a dedicated sub, but you don't need one because LSA is a lot better than it used to be, which we've talked about before.
Right.
So could be a mid, but could be Lina mid as well. We'll see.
I'm leaning towards support just because I know that this is what NiP love to do. They love to run the Lina mid for Limp, and they like to run Axe off lane. So I mean, my initial guess is support, but it could of course be support itself. Yeah, I was gonna touch just briefly on like the patch and like, you know, patterns that we see is in terms of like heroes being picked up. So right now it seems like we're in kind of a stagnant period where the same heroes are getting picked up all the time, and yeah, it is going to be, I think, a support Rubik, where we're seeing the same heroes picked up all the time. And this is just, I think, a result of it being towards the end of a patch. This always happens. Yeah. Whenever there's a patch, a big patch, and it's been around for months and months and months, clearly people are going to find out over time which are the stronger heroes. So yes, obviously towards the tail end of the patch being, you know, online, you're going to see the same heroes because teams are smart and teams will eventually figure that out. Yep. That when the new patch comes around, you'll have this grace period of 1 month to 3 months or so, where it seems like every hero is, you know.
Yeah, that's the exciting part.
Yeah,
that's the very exciting part of Dota. I will say this though, if there's one hero that has caused innovation throughout the end of this patch, throughout the end of this life cycle, it has been for me Sniper, who teams have tried figuring out what is the best counter to the hero or how do you get close to that hero. And people have been experimenting with a lot of heroes. I think you think about Spectre wasn't picked super often before Sniper came into his own. So I like the fact that they decided to pick him up, pick Spectre up. And then also I saw like Tuskar the other day, which was a lot of fun to watch too. So there are certain heroes that are being experimented with still in certain situations. But you mentioned you're going to get 3 or 4 of those heroes that are very common. And you can see it in this game. Lina, Treant, Jug, Axe. There's like a ton of them actually. Troll and Phoenix and Mag as well, kind of. So yeah, there's a lot of them in this game.
There's so many problems with Sniper. Like, one, he just lanes better than almost any hero in the game. He's extremely easy to lane. He's actually just extremely easy to play overall. Very easy to play. So easy a caveman can do it. And then you have to really draft around him. So that you have to have your entire draft pitted around him, where you're picking things like Zeus, Global Strat, Spectre. Spectre's not necessarily the greatest hero in terms of lane, so if you pick him up right after a Sniper's pick, then you can easily counter out the Spectre. So, and the biggest thing is that he's just got high ground defense for days. That's the biggest thing. So you do well in the laning stage, fine. We'll just take it to 55, 70 minutes, and we'll win with even having mega creeps on your side. It's just that's the most annoying part.
Luckily, no Sniper here. No hoo-ha-ha today. At least not for this first game. Again, it's the best of 3 series. We'll see what happens later on down the road. But right now, we have to worry about good old Troll versus Jug. When you think about manning up against a Troll, Jug's not the best at it, but he's got some help. The Lina obviously could be huge later on down the road. I'm assuming there's going to be an early BKB for 9posh. I should make note that Vega are playing with 2 stand-ins, 2 very good stand-ins as well, Solo and Mag. So Vega... And we haven't talked about their all-star mid player, No One, who is quite good. We've seen him on Wind Ranger. We've seen him on a multitude of other heroes. He's been fantastic. And he's probably the reason why they are in the playoffs in the first place. The rest of their team is good. I've seen Seema perform very well, but interesting enough, Seema, who usually plays the core role, or has played the core role in the past, is now on a support disruptor. They'll give the core to 9posh, who is rotating towards the top lane. It looks like they're aware that NiP are going for an aggro try. Solo's going to walk right in. No Icarus dive, double decay though. Telekinesis is going to stun them up, and they won't be able to chase any further. Treant Protector has Leech Seed if necessary. Mag has no boots. They're so goddamn slow, they're not going to be able to chase everybody down. So just kind of some harass early on here. Nice double decay, but that'll be it.
Yeah, this really early lane ward that Vega placed, they knew that they were going to go aggressive, and so they switched it up. Now they want to put their dual lane bottom against what was presumably the tri lane, but now NiP are responding, and they're actually switching heroes up top. And I think they're just going to have an off lane Jug and just tri lane the Axe, maybe get him some farm. We'll see how well it does.
That seems not great for Era. Someone was talking about this. I think it was at MLG. It might have been Haas discussing how NiP don't really play well from behind. I tend to agree. When they are at their best is when Era is getting free farm, which he's so good at doing. That's not going to be the situation here unless they rotate lanes. Yeah, I mean, this is not an easy lane. Matt can run at him. Flame Spirit's coming out from the support-ish Phoenix, but top lane is going to be the most interesting thing. There could be kills here for NiP. Jonas could run at them. Sima only has level 1 now. We'll see how this duel versus tri-lane.
Oh, they're going on top.
Yeah, there it is. Telekinesis. Call, actually cancel. Lychee call's about to go now. I think Simon's going to go down. Whirling Axes.
Forward?
Nice mischance, but that, oh, that spin damage. The Lychee, the right click. No, he's not dead. Stays alive. Hanskin might be the first blood. 9Posh wants this kill. Is he going to get it? Juke City from Hanskin, but it doesn't matter. 9Posh does get the first blood, and that's a duel versus that's a troll warlord, boys. That's troll warlord in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. That's that hero. That's him.
It actually is. The 60% flat miss chance at level 1 is...
Dumb hero.
I mean, you just saw them with their right clicks, like, especially the Treant, who hits for like 80-something. Yeah, 86. That's a huge amount of damage mitigated. Absolutely massive. I think he missed twice. Maybe the Axe missed twice as well. Freaking huge. And bottom putting some pressure on the arrow. Oh my god, that decayed so much damage because he already had one on him. Pumping in the auto attacks. The slow is still going through. One more auto attack from each hero and they'll get the job done. So very nicely played. Hastern helping out a little bit for Phoenix too. And things are off to a great start here for Vega.
And we both gasped. We're like, that decay did so much damage. Oh my lord. And he actually had enough mana for a decay and a tombstone. He already plopped the tombstone down top lane. Whirling Axes do connect into Seal Kid. 9Posh is just bullying him in lane, looking to get that Aquila. He's not too far off. Seal Kid is like, please, somebody help. I don't have living armor. Somebody help me, please. And he will survive. They've rotated Era up top, so they've realized that this experiment with the, you know, off-lane Jug, not really worth it, and they're going to send the Jug top instead.
I'm wondering if they respond to this somehow, because they're with Jug going top, they know the Axe is not going to come bottom. So I don't think they need two heroes down here. I'm wondering if either Solo or Mag, probably Solo just because Mag is getting free farm down here, goes top and they just combat this tri-lane with not only 3 range, but 3 strong range. Phoenix, Destructor, one of the best laning supports in the game because he has a really high damage nuke and Thunderstrike. And then of course the Troll. You don't have to speak about the Troll at all, we already know what he does. So yeah, and then mid lane is the only thing we haven't really touched on. 14 now, 15 CS for the Mag, 16 for Lina, so Mag doing pretty well for himself.
Yeah, Mag is actually in a real good spot here. We should clarify, because there is a Mag player, but no one.
Sorry, yes.
Magnus. Meanwhile, 9Posh, Telekinesis, Whirling Axis, Kinetic Field gonna go. Nice body blocks, but I don't think 9Posh survives. It's a nice kill. Icarus dive coming through. Flame Spirits as well, but Mag gets back in, throws up the tombstone, glips back into Arrow. He already uses Blade Fury. He's trying to juke as best as possible. There's Living Armor. Kinetic Field will connect. Can they get this kill? He's going to buy his TP. It looks like Arrow will fall. Gets the Healing Ward off, but it's just a bit too late. He's going to try to help Hanskin with the Healing Ward, though. Meanwhile, they're actually doing LSA, and the Fade Bolt from the high ground gets the kill onto Solo. So it turns into a 2-for-1, actually. Not a bad trade for NiP. At least they get something done there.
Yeah, that was a really nice lift from Rubik. He was on the high ground, lifted him from the high ground closer towards the Lina, so the Lina could get in range of the LSA. And just nice play and communication from those two. But yeah, the rotation came out from Solo, I think a little bit late though. I think the second they saw that the Jug went top, they should have known that Axe was not going to come bottom. I think he was just waiting to make sure Axe didn't come bottom, but he waited for quite some time, so a little bit of a slow rotation there, but it ends up being fine. They're still doing fine in the laning stage. Era's died twice, has 9 CS. He's actually gone back bottom, and the Troll's bottom too. This is not going to be favorable for the
He has nowhere to lane. Like, there's no free lane for him really in this game currently. He's trying to find whatever he possibly could find. It's not great. It's just he's having a rough time. At least Jonas is going to be in the jungle now. I think he has Tranquils on the ground, I believe. Yeah, he does. So he's not too far away from a Blink Tiger, but still going to take some time. Icarus dive top, Hanskin, and the Flame Spirits. Then they throw it on the Tombstone. Another Flame Spirit coming in. Hanskin's like, for the love of God. Oh, that soul rip, the dank rip from Mag gets the kill. Dear Lord, that was some damage.
Yep.
Oh,
although
Jonas.
I've never really understood the...
Alright, we'll see you later, Phoenix.
Peace. Mag actually taking a little bit of damage. He's actually slowed up now. If they can get some more creeps and some lucky spins from Jonas, nope, he's going to back off. But that's a really nice kill for for the Axe, and I didn't realize this, but when they had that first engagement up top, I thought Axe died, but he never did. So he hasn't died yet. He transitioned to the jungle, and he's actually well on his way towards a blink, so that could be the saving grace that NiP really needs. Like, look at him, he's up to 1,600 gold now. Oh, they're gonna kill him maybe now.
Get the Berserkers called. No, Battle Hunger instead. Flame Spirits. Living Armor saves him for a bit. Earn Chart's still going to work. He will survive. He's going to have to head all the way back home. Meanwhile, Lina gets a kill on a Mag. Limp might die. Not going to happen. Bottom lane. Action happening everywhere. NiP Posh. Blade Fury up. There's going to be the Fable. They telekinesis him already. Late Sheet. All of it used to get that kill. Ugh.
Yep. Action all over the place. I think NiP is doing a really good job about following around the Jug. Like, where he's going, they're making sure that he has support in some way or another, but I don't think Vega's responding as quickly. Like, if they just had people following around the troll, I think they could easily fight with the same numbers. Like, they definitely win at numbers. I missed the mid kill too, but Lina got a solo kill, I believe, onto Magnus.
Yeah, I mean, there's only a couple things that can happen in that situation. And so I think, yeah, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. Hansken and NiP setting themselves up here against NiP Posh.
Oh, Air just hit
kinetic
6.
seal. NiP Posh in trouble. Whirling Axes. Omni Slash is gonna go, but it's not enough damage. It's split between the two Whirling Axes.
Oh,
Seal
no.
Kid in trouble. Living Armor probably not gonna save him with the Flame Spirits on him. They get that kill. Air does get Nature's Guise. That was a sick play. Coming out from the Treant Protector to make sure Air lives. Coming into the jungle is going to be Limp. They see him there with the ward. They have to back up. They're kind of low in health. NiP Posh does not have that Morbid Mask. He needs to back now. Limp could come in and just throw up a Laguna, and that'd be the end of the story. But Limp instead will back up. He realizes that they have a ward there, and he can't do much, so.
Yep. A little bit of wasted time, unfortunately. And Mag has a TP, too. So if he's actually going to use his Tombstone to push out the wave up top a little bit, maybe get this tower, which I think is good. Soul rips himself for some extra HP. They're pinging out this Rubik. If they can catch him, Solo's running towards him. He's very fast with these Tranquils on. I think Hanskin's dead here.
There's the blink that just got in from Yodas. He might get the kill on NiP Posh. Where the spins, it doesn't matter. They get the Culling Blade anyways. Jams it in, as they say. Simi the Slayer getting chased down by Arrow. Jonas chasing down Solo as well. Mag's like, I just wanted the tower top, guys. You really just shouldn't have fought. And Simi the Slayer will pay for it with his life. Kinetic Field, blink call into Solo. No spins. Icarus dive up in 12. He'll get under the tier 2 tower, and then I don't think they dive any further. They get 2 quick kills. NiP Posh dies again. Mag TP's in. It's a bit too late, though. Is that really worth it, man? Getting the tier 1 tower top and losing those 2 heroes bottom, is that a good trade coming out for Vega?
For Vega, I don't know. It's kind of even. Like, you obviously don't want to lose that tower, but it's really not that important because Hanskin could probably just static farm this. I think it's more important that they're shutting down this troll. So I think that's totally fine for NiP. And again, another blink call with tons of creeps onto him.
Soul Rip, they need a Soul Rip. They're going to get it off. Culling Blade might come. He's out of mana. Can't use it. Meanwhile, Whirling Axes, there's the Glimpse onto Air. They take down Yoda. A big kill. Now the Supernova comes out. Seal Kid blown up as well. Burned to a crisp. That tree is on fire. Air is going to TP away. He'll make it out. Finally, Vega turned the fight around. They look with Flame Spirits to try to find that Jug. They can't seem to pick him up. NiP Posh surviving. The Dank Rips coming in again from Mag, saving his life. Big play coming out from the side of the Undying.
Yeah, the Soul Rip is actually extremely potent at all levels. It's actually a really good value point that I think about it. I never really realized this, but it's a good heal level 1, but it also only costs 50 mana. It's close to nothing.
Yeah.
These other spells cost quite a bit, actually, especially as you level up the Decay. When you're spamming that, 130 mana every time is a ton of mana. Level 1 Soul Rip, which actually heals you quite a bit, for 50 mana, it's a pretty damn good value spell.
Yeah, this is it. I like seeing more points to the Soul Rip than Decay early on, but
Me too.
I think level 2 Decay is fine. If he just stops leveling Decay here and gets max Soul Rip, I'd be happy. I'm not sure if he'll do that though. But
yeah, the leveling of Decay for damage, that's all it scales with really, is pretty bad. The only reason you want to level it up is actually for the reduced cooldown. But it also increased a lot more in mana, as I was talking. Oh, here comes the smoke.
There is going to be a fight here in some way, shape, or form. I'd be very surprised to see either team back off. Vega want this tower. NiP wanted to defend it. Currently, it's a 4 versus 5. No one is not anywhere nearby. He needs to get his Blink Dagger, and he's going to have it. Will he get the Blink and then come down? No, they do back off. Vega don't want to try to pressure this. I thought for sure they were going to go for this tower, but this is going to mean that the tower's going to get living armored up and at least regen a little bit over time.
They know that they're all off the map and they're ready to fight, and Vega's just taking the smarter approach and saying, let's just farm up our blink on mag and wait for our mag to be ready in a position to fight with that blink RP. And he's actually putting more points into Empower. He's got level 2, which is great. They haven't stacked their Ancients though, which kind of sucks for them. You really want to abuse that because you can do Ancient stacks so damn early once you get levels into Empower. Even with just this, like only these items with Troll, you can still do them. You can really still do them.
Yeah. You guys had a ridiculous stack last night, and it was very early on in the game, and I looked over, and I'm like, well, that's just Yalwar just taking, I guess, about 10 to 12 Ancients and getting an absurd amount of gold because of it, so...
Yep, he had like 13-minute SNY and then Morbid
Yes,
Mask.
it was 1350. I actually remember timing it. I'm like, that's a 13-minute SNY. Good stuff. All right, well...
It's really broken. It's really, really strong. Anyway, Mag is going to go for a mech, which I really, really like. They're trading here. I think Vega should fight this. Okay, good. Yeah, NiP is backing off. They're actually putting pressure on both the top lane and the mid lane. But Vega want to fight, man. They have their items. They have this Undying, who's one of the best team fighters early on. And they have just good heroes to fight. Like, Phoenix has pretty good levels as well.
Yeah, they have the RP. They have the Static Storm now as well, I believe, up on the Seam of the Slayer Disruptor. Blink away. Era, I think, maybe spotted him out. Or vice versa. Air's on the high ground. They know he's there. It's level 1 Omni Slash. It's not the biggest deal, but now 2 heroes coming behind him. Limp with actually an Invis rune. That's frightening. He also has his Yules. Seema's maybe dead if he walks up.
Stun.
Yeah. See you later, Seema. Well, nice kill.
I was hoping Rubik, instead of using the Fade Bolt, which actually did nothing because he was already dead, is spam the Spell Steal. As a Rubik, you should. That's like your primary thing. Just get spells as fast as you can, no matter what in the middle of, or as early into the engagement as possible.
Get that kinetic field. I want to mention also, by the way, I don't know if you remember back at the qualifiers between these two teams, which we casted, the alt chat situation.
Yeah.
That happened at the end. There's a bit of bad blood between these two teams, so nice to see that.
That's right. And they're both here now. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. We've come full circle. For those of you that have joined us all the way through this tournament, you know what we're talking about. And Hanskin is going to get the tower. Might die for it, actually. NiP was too busy trying to go on a Hanskin that he didn't actually deny the tower. So Hanskin, not only does he get the tower, he spell steals Berserker's Rage, which I mean, that's the worst thing you probably can steal, I think.
You can bash people, though. I've seen it happen.
Yeah, but you have to be right next to them. I don't understand. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you have to be melee range, obviously, but it's there. Like, say you're trying to go for that YOLO bash when they're TPing out and you've used telekinesis, they think you have no bash. Bam! Bash right in the face.
Just so silly.
Never expect it.
But what a silly spell to steal.
It's so stupid, man. Like that and Split Shot and like even the Mana Shield. Like Deuce's spells are the worst.
I guess you could activate it to get more move speed and then not activate it if you're trying to just hit people. But
yeah, that's true. You can get into range easier for a telekinesis.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
That's a good point. Gives you extra armor too.
Yeah, that's true. All right. There's some usages for Berserker's Rage, even on a Rubik. Not the best right clicker in the world, but they're gonna try to take the tier 1 tower down. Seal Kid is Nature's Geist. He has Overgrowth. Limp is nearby with the Yule Scepter. And Vega want to push the pace of this game. That's not unsurprising considering what kind of advantage they have early on here. Mag almost has his mech, by the way. Living Armor and Glyph goes. 9posh really wants this tower. They're just going to back up. They will not contest this, and 9posh will get the last hit. So his Yasha's done. Morbid Mask, SNY is going to be coming soon, I imagine. No need for Manta this game, especially against an Axe. So SNY will probably be done.
I don't know why they haven't stacked at all. They have no stacks for this troll. That he could be getting so much farm now. In fact, even NiP is stacking for their Axe or their Jug. Probably their Axe. Their Jug has like very little farm. He's only got 59 CS. So they're doing a good job of stacking. He's actually going to try this. It's going to go very slowly though. He's got no Venge. He's got no Venge. He's got no, Cleave. Oh, he has Mask of Madness now. Okay, so
he just picked it up.
Won't go terribly slowly, but I'm telling you, you can cake out quinta stacks. Is that how you say it? 5 stacks, whatever. In a matter of seconds with that Empower. And he's even foregoing more levels in Skewer. Only stopped at level 2, and I think this is the right decision. But I think Vega could have done a much better job stacking.
We saw level 3. Level 3 skewer is fine too. Level 2, level 3, right around that time. You don't need to max it out. Just Empower's too good to pass up, man. What an ability, but this game has turned into an 8-8 even if fair. It seems like it should be more in favor of Vega because of the towers they've taken and the early lead they have, but they haven't team fought. They got this blink so early on in the magnets they haven't used it yet, and maybe it's NiP with positioning, or maybe it's the fact that Vega just aren't pushing the pace fast enough, and I really think they should be. I think they should be not necessarily running at NiP, because running at a Jug Axe is a bit dangerous, but still. They have this mech now. I think this is when they go.
They're split pushing a lot on NiP, and that's the smart thing. Like, you don't want to fight into what Vega has 5v5. Undying is super strong. They have RP, they have Egg. So they're trying to split as much as possible and not take engagements 5v5. They're looking for the 5v4s after, like for instance, when that Lena got that kill on the Disruptor for free, and then you can fight, because then it's 4v5, and then the numbers advantage is in your favor. So, and until that happens, they just are content in splitting. So NiP are playing this a little bit smarter, and Vega aren't really. I guess they're taking a tier 2 now. We'll see how much damage NiP can do to these other tier 2s. Actually, look at Limp. Like, all this damage he's putting in, that's solo. So he might not get the tower kill, but he's put in a lot of damage to it.
They will get the tier 2 bottom. It took them a while. Tier 2 top does take that damage like you were talking about, but Limp will have to back up now, as everyone's gonna back up. I liked what no one was doing. He was baiting with his illusion. He actually had it over here on the side saying, this is where I am, but he was actually in the trees. Not that it didn't end up mattering, but it was kind of a cool thing to watch. Meanwhile, Mag is going to get scouted out. Seal Kid, Hanskin, they throw down a tombstone. Maybe just to do some jungle camps, or maybe just to push them back. I'm not sure if they saw them, but all right.
Oh, you know what I saw AUI do that I actually thought was really innovative? I don't know if anyone else did this before, so I can't give them credit, but when I saw EG playing and they had something similar to Vega's lineup, they had Undying, I think it was Jug though, and then they had Magnus as well. They stacked the Radiant Ancient so much, and it was so early, you didn't think you could do it, but you can actually throw down the Tombstone, and they will provide you with bodies the entire time, and so you actually don't get hit at all, because that's what the Ancients will hit. It was actually really smart.
Yeah.
So I would like to see teams do that more if they are in the position to do so, which Vega are. They don't even need it though, because they have Empower. But
yeah, they have Empower Troll. There's no need to throw down the Tombstone.
It was just a really cool mechanic that I saw that I've never seen before.
Yeah, I think you need to abuse that Tombstone as much as possible, because later on in the game, I mean, it does some work, but like, he falls off. When you think of a dying, you think of a hero that's really, really good, and like, the 10 to 20 minute mark, 25 minute mark, very solid. And then he kind of struggles to keep pace. One item that does allow him to keep pace later on down the road is an Aghanim Scepter. I'm not sure if you've seen Ag's Flesh Golem. The damage amplification is absurd.
What is
Scepter max damage amplification at level 3 is 40%. That's 40% extra damage coming out through your Flesh Golem, and I've experimented with it. The one that tipped me off about it actually was Purge. I was streaming and he was telling me about it, and I built the item. I'm like, that's a ton of damage. So
what's the range or the radius here? I'm trying to look.
I think
750. Okay, that's pretty good.
It's pretty big. 750 is a very, very big range. So
it'd be cool to see it maybe come into play this game. Something that always seemed really amazing to me on paper, but I've never seen it actually come into play. Maybe it's because I've never seen people build the item, but Ags on Abaddon, how he absorbs like all the damage when he ultis, or I should say a large portion of the damage, which on paper you're like, holy shit, that sounds amazing. He just runs in there, absorbs everything. He doesn't even have to be hit. And yeah, by the way, they did Roshan.
Yeah, that was happening. You made me curious now. I want to see, number one, how much they build Ags on Abaddon, and number two, how much they build it on Undying. I've got a feeling it's probably like once or twice in this last patch, maybe, between the two heroes. So
Pip is saying in our ears, he's like, Goblack did it. It reminds me of that, I think it's either Family Guy or South Park, where they're like, Simpsons did it, Simpsons did it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. These references
That's Pimp right now in my ear. Simpsons did it.
Dude, you've had like 4 references since the start of this cast. You did so easy a caveman could do it. I'm like, nobody gets that joke except for Americans that watch a lot of TV. I'm like, that joke's a couple years old.
I feel like that's a universal. You know, those commercials are so cool.
They don't have Geico in Europe. Oh, maybe they do. Who knows?
Well, I'll just say shout out to.
Not Family Guy. I'm not talking about Family Guy, Pimp. I'm talking about Geico Insurance, all right?
Oh, we don't have that.
Shout out to Norway, by the way, because in that Geico commercial, the airport one where he's like on the little moving thingy.
Yes.
The song in the background is a song by a band called Royksopp, and they're from Norway, and they are freaking badass. So
Dude,
shout out to Royksopp.
You're throwing out all these references. I just can't handle with it.
I'm sorry.
My head's exploding. All right, back to the game. Tier 2 being traded for a Tier 2 potentially. Era's going to head down mid. He's looking for this Tier 2. They threw up the glyph top lane. That tower's already dead, baby. They're going in. They're going for that Tier 3. They're about that high ground pushing life, and no one wants to use. There's been 0 RPs this entire game. It's 21 minutes in. Let's get an RP. Let's go. Already, everyone's TP'd back on the side of NiP. They're going to have to fight this. Limp has a Shadow Blade. LSA, Laguna, 9posh not dead. He might fall. Will, the Culling Blade. That's the Aegis on the deck. RP on the 2 from no one.
Stolen.
Overgrowth comes out. They get the Static Storm coming through as well. It was stolen, but how is he going to get there? That's the question. Not going to matter. Jonas going to fall. Buyback coming in. That'll be from Limp. Supernova going through as well. They've got to back, though. Tombstone still going to work. No mana for Hanske to use that RP. They're going to take down the Tombstone. Force out 2 buybacks. What a forced blink RP from no one. He makes it look easy, man. That is not easy to do. That was beautifully done.
Yeah. Really nicely done. And it's really hard to get in there to make your RP useful if you don't have a blink onto the Rubik. Also, this combination of team fight with, I mean, the RP, the Supernova going down, the kinetic field plus the Undying Tomb, where they actually can't physically get to the tomb to even hit it.
Yeah.
That was pretty insane. So they have amazing team fight on the side of Vega, and for the former portion of this game, NiP did a really good job about splitting them. But when they actually have to, you're in a position where they have to fight. Oh, they've smoked and they found one hero, and it's this mag. And they actually use the RP just because he wants to use the RP, but gets the kill.
That's a nice kill. That's certainly not bad. They have some room to work with now. God, that skewer back into Static Storm was pretty absurd. They had some pretty good team coordination there. Finally, the Manta is done for Era, but at the same time, the BKB is also done for 9posh with 1 creep. Doesn't have Aegis, might want to save for buyback, who knows. And if NiP don't have buyback there with Limp and Jonas, then all of a sudden that fight gets a lot worse. But luckily they have it. It's not, I don't think that buyback is that detrimental at this point in the game, unless they're going to lose another fight in the next couple of moments. But 4 Undying Ags this patch, 39 all time, 6.7% of games. 3 Undying, 3 Abaddon Ags this patch. So, well, yeah, so 7 total throughout those 2 heroes, and they haven't been picked a lot, but.
Yeah, the sad thing is that we just normally don't see these heroes picked up anyway, so.
Yeah.
But anyway, this game is very similar, or it's a very telling game about what you normally see when you have a Troll Warlord, and it's kind of like a one core lineup where he has ridiculous amounts of farm. They have other cores on the side where they're all kind of evenly farmed, but not as farmed as a Troll, and then you have a supporting cast that backs up the Troll. Like, for instance, Troll is really, really far ahead. No one else really has that amount of farm, but Magnus is a hero that where you might see, oh, his net worth is really low. It doesn't matter. Once he gets Blink and perhaps a Force, even then, I'm not sure it's really core, but that Blink RP, relevant from this time you get it till the very end of the game.
Yep.
The RP will always be relevant.
One of those abilities that just throughout all stages of the game is very important and will continue to be so. Even when he gets the Shadow Blade, even more so. We saw this type of, like, if you look at the net worth chart, we saw this type of net worth. And I'm going to mention your game again last night because it's the most recent example, which I want to throw out there. Dota 2 Canada Cup is going on, and I definitely, if you guys like North American Dota, you should check it out. It was your team, Black Sheep versus Wheel, and it was this draft was very, very late game oriented from Wheel. They had so much wave clear. I'm sure you guys were like, this is stupid. We have to play up against a Coddle, Medusa, Lena lineup, and you guys were able to breach high ground despite only having 1 real farmed core in Yawar. Now that farmed core was 6 slotted at the end of the game, don't get me wrong, he definitely was. The rest of you guys were getting decent farm, and so was up there in terms of his own net worth, but it was like Yawar, then like 3 or 4 of the heroes on the other side of things. But it didn't matter. You were able to eventually get to the high ground just with Troll and outmaneuvering Wheel in the end. So it was a nice game to watch too. But it was a bit boring, I will be honest with you. It's pretty boring.
It was really boring. I just think that in these kind of lineups, Magnus is the more integral part. Like, Troll is Troll, right? Like, this hero can pretty much do it all without any help. It's just the added help from Empower makes him look even more broken than he already is. I just think if you have a good Magnus player, the weakness of Magnus is in the lane, right? But he's not even necessarily that weak because you can still spam and bottle crow. So that's the lane phase. Yeah, it can be rough, but you will get out of it. It's just it'll be a little bit of a problem, but you'll get out of it. The problem comes in the mid to late game where you might be up against lineups that it's just really difficult to find these openings for RPs. But if you're a good enough Magnus player and you're patient enough, like you were saying earlier, we haven't seen an RP yet, and he's got a blink force, and it's 18 minutes or something.
Right.
But he's patient and he gets the ones he knows are going to work.
Yeah.
At least hopefully. I mean, he got one so far. That was amazing. But that's really what comes to mind as the integral part of this lineup. Yes, troll is troll, but I think if you have a competent Magnus player, this hero it's really top tier.
The patience required for the hero for Magnus can be daunting sometimes in the face of what you have to deal with.
It's kind of like in the sense, especially in the very late stage of the game where you have difficulty pushing high ground. This is one of the most difficult things for teams to do right now, especially in this patch, is pushing high ground. The best way to push high ground, obviously, is to kill a hero before you start. Well, if there's 5 heroes defending and 5 heroes pushing, you can get into a stalemate, especially when there's heroes like heroes like Sniper or Shaker. You can get into a stalemate where you just sit there forever and you can't actually go. But with a hero like Magnus, or actually a hero like Pudge is one of the best, but Pudge is never picked, where if you just keep throwing out those lucky like blink skewers or lucky hooks and maybe get that one hero. This is why Batrider is so good. You get that one pick off that doesn't really cost you anything to try. Then you can actually push. So this is why I like Magnus. This is why Batrider is so good. Speaking of Magnus, though, here's a blink call onto him.
Yeah, he's going to die. Ellis is going to come through Laguna Blade as well. They glimpse back Lena, and she's like, well, thanks. I was just actually going to head back towards the bottom rune spot anyways, so...
Those disgusting pauses, man. How many times have you seen those pauses where you're just going willy-nilly through the game, you forget where the heroes are, and then they jump you immediately? It's the worst feeling in the world.
Well, sometimes it happens. Unfortunate for the Mag who's died twice in a row. Not great. I was going to make a point. I can't really remember what the point is. Yeah, so I actually, when you talk about high ground pushes, I feel like vision might be the most important thing for the team that's pushing.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to get that vision up there without them counter-warding it A, or putting you in a position where it's not going to be seen by a tower. That's why tier 3 towers are actually so much more important than people will think, but... Yeah, the vision for, especially for like a Mag or specifically like a Batrider like you were talking about, that's how you get those blink lassos. So
Batrider is just good because he creates his own vision in daytime.
True, Firefly, yeah.
Yeah, it's great. The other problem too is that it becomes very obvious that they're putting a ward there. Like every good team will just, even if you don't know if you haven't actually seen them place a ward, you just put a sentry there anyway. It doesn't really cost you much, and to get rid of that vision, it would save you a potentially entire team fight. So
there's a small there's a small window of places you could put that observer ward in the first place without it getting counter warded. So sentrying it is not difficult. This fight could break out mid. Limp is shadow bladed up. It's about to run out actually.
He can one shot the disruptor, I think. Oh wait, he doesn't have Ags yet.
Ooh, they saw him, but they couldn't get the glimpse off. They kinetic fielded and he TP'd away. That was very close for Limp. He's lucky to be alive, honestly. But now, actually, it's going to be a smoke of Vega. They're going to head towards the enemy jungle. Maybe they'll know because they said the Juggernaut illusions. They should imagine something's happening. Seal Kid, they are going to get the overgrowth off. There's going to be the Acre side. The glimpse back in as well, and it looks like he will fall. Seal Kid is going to go down. It's not the biggest kill in the world, but it is something. And they have a gem on Solo, rather. That's how they saw him. Top tier 2 is taken by Air in the meantime. Tier 2 mid is being taken as well. See if Eric can put enough pressure on his tier 3 to force out TPs. Maybe not.
Well, they're TPing back anyway, so he hasn't even shown, but they're still TPing back. Vega's going to take that time to place a little bit of an aggressive ward there to give some vision. I think right now it would be great because the lanes are so pushed. Oh, top lane.
Solo. That's a gem, and Lip's going to walk right on away with that. No one's looking for a blink in a second. He can get there. Skewer, Eul Scepter comes out. No blink. Won't be able to get there. 9 Posh. Meanwhile, the top lane pops the BKB. Kills 2 heroes. You know, he couldn't wait. He had to go for him. And I missed 2 apparently easy kills, so.
Well, this is why I think it's a really good decision for 9 Posh to go for the Manta, because they went onto him, they used the Omni Slash, he pops the Manta right away, and then the Omni Slash gets divided among 3 different heroes. So it wasn't all that impressive. But then he just did troll things. Turned onto him, killed the Rubik with right clicks from range, pressed the ultimate, and then just the Jug stood no chance whatsoever. So I think if you're NiP, you need to evaluate the items a little bit more carefully, because that Manta makes... If you're going to Omni Slash, you need to make sure he's either stunned... If I'm giving you Troll, I must be getting a ton in return. Lena's pretty good. Treant, it's not the most impressive, like, first 2 picks ever, though. Like, something like Sniper Treant or Sniper Axe or Sniper Lena would have been good, but they already did get the Axe, so Axe wasn't banned out, which is surprising considering if you watch NiP, that's one of their favorite heroes. They really love to pick up that Axe. Even in, I don't know if it was an interview, but it was PPD's podcast when he was discussing when they, I don't know if you remember the game at MLG, they got absolutely destroyed by NiP in like 13 minutes or something. It was just a complete stomp. And they were just saying, well, this is something that this game told us, is how stupid Axe is. And we forgot how stupid Axe can be. So people sometimes forget, you know, the new hot commodity, of course, well, not new, I should say, but the big hot commodity is like your Troll Warlord, your Sniper. But don't forget that Axe is really, really strong, too.
Axe is a pretty dumb hero in his own right. I think everybody's just kind of waiting for this patch, and it's not going to be too long now before we get it. I am very excited to see what changes, because I think a lot of things. Having a great playoff matchup between Virtus Pro as well as Hellraisers. That was our first matchup not too long ago, but we're getting into this one, and already some interesting heroes being picked up. But as we continue, I want to say, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much again for supporting Dota Pit, being amazing, and making sure that we've grown this far. Brought to you by One Game Agency, produced by High Ground TV. Of course, my name is Watt. Joining me today, Pitmuckle, our observer as well as producer. Mott Pax, our stats man, who did miss that last game. Welcome back, buddy. And of course, Trouf, how the hell are you, man?
I am doing good. You know, when you just said at the beginning of this playoffs, you sounded like that guy from that Coors Light commercial. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Who was that guy? Do you know?
He was he was one of the coaches of the Colts, Indianapolis Colts. I don't know who. I can't remember his name, but
playoffs.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That famous little thing. But anyway, it just popped into my head. But no, I'm doing good. I got my McDonald's coffee, which is like the best coffee in the world. And I'm excited to see this. So Lena Treant picked up here.
Is it going to change? This is going to be one heck of a patch in terms of parity and balance. But for now, we still have to deal with pretty much the overarching issue, which is Juggernaut's picked up, Trolls picked up. You know, it's no surprise. Sniper's banned out. No Shadow Fiend banned, but I don't think either team will grab him. And NiP probably going to send Axe to the off lane, which they've done multiple times for Jonas. If he is playing it, and then I guess you pick up a mid here or a support, depends on what they want with this Lena. That's the most important thing. And they don't have like a dedicated sub, but you don't need one because LSA is a lot better than it used to be, which we've talked about before.
Right.
So could be a mid, but could be Lena mid as well. We'll see.
I'm leaning towards support just because I know that this is what NiP love to do. They love to run the Lena mid for Limp, and they like to run Axe off lane. So I mean, my initial guess is support, but it could, of course, be support itself. Yeah, I was going to touch just briefly on, like, the patch and, like, you know, patterns that we see is in terms of, like, heroes being picked up.
I'm not a fan of the hero early on in the game, and I don't know. We'll see. It depends on what NiP pick for their offlane, because currently they have a lot of options, but they have the Lena Tree Protector Juggernaut. We'll see if they send the Lena mid. It's definitely an option for them. They could also do support Lena, which has been something people have been experimenting with. But Magnus Troll, that seems to be the hot new thing. You know, Troll Warlord, he farms fast already, then you give him in power, and he takes down ancient stacks, he takes down camps like nobody's business. He'd be able to farm. There's a game last night I was watching, which you guys were playing. You had a Mag on your team, and Yawar, I think, was playing the Troll, and he farmed incredibly fast. It was unbelievable.
It's stupid.
It's ridiculous.
I think in power, actually, the buff is too strong. I think it gives you too much damage, too much cleave as well. It's just 50% flat for both. It's just it's way too much, I think. I think it needs to be tweaked. Maybe like 10, 20, 30, 40. Something small like that. Anyway, it's very, very strong. Magnus Troll, I'm surprised I gave him both of them, honestly. Especially the Troll. So when you give Troll, you want to get a lot out of it. Like, on the side of a NiP, and then, of course, a Jug. Troll Phoenix. I was thinking about it, and I think that Bat Rider is actually a much better of a counter to Treant than Phoenix is, as far as getting rid of Limit Armor. Because Phoenix, the way I've seen Phoenix played effectively lately is that, like, he doesn't really do much in team fights until he's like a level 11, or just he doesn't want to start a team fight. Like, he doesn't run in there hoping to start something. It's more of like the fight's already happening and then he kind of rolls in or something. At least from what I've seen. So I think Batrider's a little bit better at being active of taking over the tree armor, but of course, if it ever does get to the point where you have an Ags on Treant, then obviously Phoenix is probably the best because he has so many different ways to get rid of those eyes. But maybe Vega's just comfortable with Phoenix in general. It's a pretty good offlaner. It is Radiant, though, so it's not going to be nearly as strong. Man is picked up, probably mid. Could see a support Phoenix, though, too.
That would be definitely interesting. I agree with you in the fact that Phoenix he's hit or miss sometimes. We talked about this last series. For me, I'm just